My dear friends, I want to speak to you today about something that touches the very core of our earthly experience, our relationship with abundance, prosperity, and the divine flow of supply that is our birthright. You see, I have discovered through years of spiritual work and countless demonstrations that there is a profound truth about prosperity that most people never understand. They look at their wallets, their bank accounts, their circumstances, and they speak words of lack, of limitation, of fear, never realizing that their very words are the creative force that perpetuates their struggle. Today, I want to share with you a sacred practice, a divine communion between your conscious mind and the infinite supply that surrounds us always. It may seem simple, perhaps even childlike to some, but I assure you that the greatest truths often come wrapped in the simplest forms. What I'm about to share with you has the power to transform not just your financial circumstances, but your entire relationship with the divine flow of abundance. You know, when I first began this spiritual work, I too struggled with the material aspects of life. I watched as bills piled up, as opportunities seemed to slip through my fingers like water, as the very thing I needed most, money, seemed to flee from me the moment I reached for it. But then I discovered something magnificent, something that changed everything. I learned that money, like everything else in this universe, is energy. It is divine substance made manifest in a form we can understand and use. The wallet in your purse or pocket is not merely a container for paper and cards. Oh no, my dear ones, it is so much more than that. It is a sacred vessel, a temple of abundance, a physical representation of your capacity to receive the infinite good that the universe is constantly trying to pour into your life. And like any sacred space, it responds to the vibration of reverence, gratitude, and conscious acknowledgement. I want you to understand something fundamental about the nature of supply. The universe operates on the principle of circulation. Money must flow, just as water must flow, just as breath must flow, just as love must flow. When we hold tight to what we have out of fear, when we speak words of lack and limitation, we create a dam in this divine circulation. But when we speak words of faith, of gratitude, of expectant receiving, we open the floodgates of heaven itself. Now, I'm going to share with you the exact words I want you to speak into your wallet. But first, you must understand the spiritual science behind this practice. Every word you speak carries within it the creative power of the divine. The Bible tells us that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. This is not merely poetry, my friends. This is spiritual law. Your words are not empty sounds disappearing into the air. They are living forces, creative energies that shape your reality according to their vibration. When you speak into your wallet with conscious intention, with faith, with the absolute knowing that you are addressing the very source of all supply, something miraculous happens. You align yourself with the divine current of abundance. You declare to the universe, to your subconscious mind, to every cell in your body, that you are a child of the divine, worthy of infinite good, open to receive all that is yours by divine right. I have seen this principle work in the most extraordinary ways. I remember a woman who came to me, desperate and afraid. She had been without work for months, her savings depleted, her confidence shattered. She told me that every time she opened her wallet, she felt a stab of panic at its emptiness. I taught her this practice, and I watched as her entire energy shifted. Within 2 weeks, not only had she found employment, but she received an unexpected inheritance from a relative she had not heard from in years. This was not coincidence, my dear ones. This was divine law in action. The words I want you to speak are these, and I want you to speak them with the absolute conviction that you are speaking to the very heart of infinite supply itself. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies everything in this wallet. I am a magnet for money. Money comes to me easily and quickly through perfect channels for my highest good and the highest good of all concerned. I am grateful for the abundance that flows to me now. But let me tell you why each part of this affirmation is spiritually significant. When we begin with divine love through me, we acknowledge that we are not the source of our supply. We are channels for the divine source to work through. This removes the burden of trying to figure out how abundance will come, and it opens us to receive from unexpected directions. The ego mind always wants to know the how, but the spiritual mind knows that the how is God's business. When we say blesses and multiplies everything in this wallet, we are invoking the same divine principle that Jesus used when he blessed the loaves and fishes. Blessing is a form of spiritual alchemy. It transforms the vibration of whatever we bless, raising it to its highest potential. And multiplication, oh, this is the magic that happens when we align with divine law rather than fighting against it. I am a magnet for money. These words reprogram your subconscious mind from the old belief that money is hard to come by, that you must struggle and strain for every dollar. Instead, you declare yourself to be naturally attractive to the flow of prosperity. Just as a magnet effortlessly draws iron filings, you become effortlessly attractive to the abundance that is your divine inheritance. Money comes to me easily and quickly through perfect channels. Notice that we don't specify how the money must come. We don't limit the infinite creativity of the universe by insisting it must come through our current job, or through the lottery, or through any particular avenue. We trust that infinite intelligence knows the perfect way to bring our good to us, often in ways we could never have imagined. For my highest good, and the highest good of all concerned, this ensures that our prosperity comes in divine order, harming no one, blessing everyone it touches. True abundance is never selfish. It lifts up everyone around us, creating waves of good that ripple out into the world. And we end with gratitude. I am grateful for the abundance that flows to me now, because gratitude is the fastest way to align ourselves with receiving. When we are grateful for what we are about to receive, we create the consciousness of having already received it. And in the realm of spirit, when we have the consciousness of having something, the manifestation must follow. Now, I want to share with you the proper way to perform this sacred practice. This is not simply about mouthing words. This is about creating a moment of divine communion. First, find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. Hold your wallet in your hands with reverence, the same reverence you might hold a prayer book or a sacred relic. Remember, you are about to perform an act of conscious creation. Open your wallet and look inside. Do not focus on what is not there. That would be speaking the language of lack. Instead, look with the eyes of faith, seeing the abundance that is on its way to you. If there is money in your wallet, no matter how small the amount, let gratitude fill your heart. If your wallet is empty, see it as a clean slate, ready to receive infinite good. Bring the wallet close to your lips and speak these words with deep conviction, with love, with absolute faith in their power to transform your reality. As you speak, feel the words vibrating through your being. Know that you are speaking divine truth, that you are aligning yourself with laws that are more reliable than gravity, more certain than the rising of the sun. After you have spoken the words, sit quietly for a moment. Allow yourself to feel the shift in energy, the lightness that comes when we have just performed a sacred act. You may feel a tingling sensation, a warmth, a sense of expansion. These are signs that you have successfully connected with the divine current of abundance. But here is something crucial that you must understand. This practice must be accompanied by right action and right thinking throughout your day. You cannot speak these words of abundance and then spend the rest of your day complaining about bills, worrying about money, or speaking words of lack and limitation. That would be like planting seeds of flowers and then pouring poison on the soil. After you perform this practice, you must live as if you truly believe what you have spoken. When you pay a bill, do it with gratitude rather than resentment. When you make a purchase, do it with joy rather than anxiety. When you think about money, let your thoughts be of appreciation and expectancy rather than fear and worry. I have watched this principle work in my own life countless times. I remember once when I needed exactly $100 for a specific purpose, and I had no idea where it would come from. I performed this practice with my wallet, speaking the words with complete faith, and then I released all worry about how the money would come. Within 3 days, I received a letter from a publisher offering me exactly $100 for a small piece of writing I had submitted months earlier and completely forgotten about. This is how the universe works when we align ourselves with divine law. Another time, a student of mine was facing eviction from her apartment. She had been out of work for months and was down to her last few dollars. I taught her this practice, and I also taught her to see her wallet not as a symbol of her lack, but as a sacred vessel preparing to receive abundance. She performed the practice faithfully for 1 week, and during that week, something shifted in her consciousness. She began to feel hopeful again, confident again. And from that new consciousness, she took inspired action. She called an old friend she hadn't spoken to in years, just to say hello, and learned that this friend's company was looking for someone with her exact skills. She was hired within days, with a salary higher than she had ever earned before. You see, my dear ones, this practice is not magic in the sense of something supernatural or mysterious. It is spiritual science, the application of divine law through conscious intention and aligned action. When we speak words of truth with faith and conviction, we set in motion forces that must produce corresponding results. This is not wishful thinking or positive psychology. This is the very foundation upon which the universe operates. But I must warn you about the tricks your ego mind will try to play on you. After you begin this practice, your old patterns of thinking may try to reassert themselves. You may find yourself thinking, "This is silly," or "How can talking to a wallet possibly change anything?" When these thoughts arise, remember that they are not your true thoughts. They are the voice of the limited consciousness that has kept you bound to lack and limitation. The truth is, you have been talking to your wallet all along, but you have been speaking words of lack, limitation, and fear. Every time you opened it with a sigh, every time you counted what was in it with disappointment, every time you wished there was more, you were programming it with the vibration of insufficiency. Now you are simply choosing to program it with the vibration of abundance instead. I want you to understand that abundance is not just about having more money, though that will certainly be one of the results. True abundance is about living in harmony with the divine flow of good that is constantly seeking expression through you. When you align yourself with this flow through practices like this one, every area of your life begins to flourish. Opportunities appear. Relationships improve. Health increases. Joy becomes your natural state. Money is simply crystallized energy, and energy responds to the vibration of our consciousness. When your consciousness is filled with gratitude, faith, and expectant receiving, money cannot help but flow to you. It is drawn by the magnetic power of your aligned thoughts, feelings, and words. I have had students who transformed their entire financial reality through this simple practice. One man went from bankruptcy to building a thriving business within 18 months. A woman who had been living paycheck to paycheck for years suddenly found herself with opportunities to earn money from multiple streams of income. A young couple who had been struggling to buy their first home discovered that the money they needed appeared through a series of seemingly miraculous events. But in every case, the transformation began with a change in consciousness. It began with recognizing that they were not victims of circumstance, but co-creators with the divine. It began with understanding that their words carried the power to reshape their reality. and it began with treating their wallets not as symbols of limitation, but as sacred vessels of infinite possibility. Now, I want to address something that troubles many people when they first learn about these principles. They wonder if it is spiritual to desire money, if it is somehow wrong to use divine power for material purposes. Let me be very clear about this. Poverty is not spiritual. Lack is not a virtue. The divine wants you to have abundance in every area of your life, including your finances. Money is a tool, nothing more and nothing less. It can be used for great good or great harm, depending on the consciousness of the one who wields it. When you have money flowing easily in your life, you can be a blessing to others. You can support causes you believe in. You can help those in need. You can live without the stress and worry that financial struggle creates, freeing your mind and heart to focus on higher purposes. The key is to remember that money is a means, not an end. It is not meant to be hoarded or worshipped, but to be used as a tool for creating good in the world. When you approach money with this consciousness, as a divine tool for divine purposes, the universe delights in providing you with more and more of it. As you begin this practice, I want you to keep a record of what happens. Not because you need proof, for faith requires no proof, but because witnessing the demonstrations of divine law will strengthen your faith and increase your capacity to receive even greater good. Notice the unexpected checks that arrive. Notice the opportunities that present themselves. Notice how your relationship with money begins to shift from fear to love, from anxiety to trust. Remember, this is not a one-time practice, but a way of life. Make it a sacred ritual, perhaps performing it every morning before you begin your day, or every evening before you sleep. Let it become as natural and automatic as breathing, and watch as your wallet becomes not just a container for money, but a symbol of your conscious partnership with the infinite abundance of the universe. The words you speak into your wallet today will echo through the quantum field of infinite possibility, drawing to you exactly what you need for your highest good. Trust in this process. Trust in the power of your word. Trust in the love of the divine that wants nothing more than to shower you with every good and perfect gift. Your wallet will never be empty again because you will have filled it with something far more valuable than money. You will have filled it with faith, with divine love, with the unshakable knowing that you are a beloved child of an abundant universe. And from that consciousness, material abundance must flow as surely as water flows downhill. This is not just a practice, my dear ones. It is a spiritual awakening. It is a remembering of who you truly are and what is truly possible when you align yourself with divine law. Your wallet is about to become a testament to the power of conscious creation, a physical reminder that you are not at the mercy of economic conditions or external circumstances, but are instead a co-creator with the force that moves the stars and shapes the galaxies. Speak these words with love. Speak them with faith. Speak them with the absolute conviction that you are addressing the very source of all supply. And then watch in wonder as your life transforms before your very eyes, as abundance flows to you in ways you never thought possible, as your wallet becomes a never-ending spring of divine provision. The universe is waiting to bless you beyond your wildest dreams. All you need to do is speak the word, align your consciousness with divine truth, and prepare to receive the abundance that has always been yours by right of your divine inheritance. Your wallet will never be empty again because you have filled it with the most powerful force in the universe, the creative power of the spoken word, backed by unwavering faith in infinite good.